Um, I felt good. I promise I felt good. And not that I feel awful right now, I hate it. I hate that we're going through this. But I felt good about the game plan and the scheme, and that's what I told them in the locker room, and the energy we were doing it with in practice. And I think we're doing it harder in practice than we are in the game right now. I don't think we tried to really get up and pressure the ball. That was in the game plan. And I think we could have been a little bit better than that to start the game. Our game plan was to play zone, and we played zone about 3 minutes. And we really wanted to pressure the ball, and they scored 16 points in like the first 4 minutes. So we had to get out of that. But this group fought. I hate it for these seniors. I think these seniors are part of a class that is some of the most accomplished in the history of Marshall women's basketball. We're fighting to get in the conference tournament. I do not want to be left out of the conference tournament. I don't even know what that feels like. I don't want to know. And I don't want them to know. Although I think we're learning valuable lessons. I'd like to feel better after a game. I'd like to feel good about what we're accomplishing. Charlotte's a really good team. Every time we miss an assignment, they made us pay, but that's a broken record. That's what this league is. It's a good league, top to bottom, and we just got to figure out how to get healthy, get our minds right, and play better basketball, especially on the defensive end of the floor.
Matt, was this team just a little long for you again? They are fairly good size underneath, and they throw about 7 or 8 people at you under there.
Yeah, but everybody's long for us. Especially after the injuries that we've had. We introduced Maddie before because she had an ACL, and as it's documented that KB had an ACL. It's like 5 in the last 22 months. So I'm not no stranger to that. But it's not really about the size. The size is not bothering. The rebounding was not that. We gave up 4 offensive rebounds in the first media timeout in the zone, and they got 11 offensive rebounds in the game. So they hurt us all over the floor. If you look at their stat line, it wasn't one player in particular. It was just mistakes we made or plays that they made. And they're a good ball club. They're certainly a good ball club.
It just seemed like every time you guys put a run together, and it didn't matter if you got down 15, 16, you came back time after time, let you get to 5, and it seemed like just the ball wouldn't roll in, or the out of bounds went their way, or whatever it might be. It just is. I hate to say bad luck, but when you've lost games, that stuff seems to happen to you when you've lost a bunch.
Yeah, there's catching breaks and making breaks. A critical loose ball on the other end of the floor, and there were 2 players on the floor. They were both in green jerseys. They get the possession, they call a timeout. We've got to go make our breaks on those, and we talk about it. I promise, I'm not the smartest guy in the room, but I'm not the dullest tool in the toolbox either. And I feel like shots were going to go down too. We tried to speed them up a little bit because I felt like they were going to go anytime. And I really don't know if it's fatigue. I don't know if I think it's all the above. I think it's emotional heartache. It's, there's not a whole lot of emotion up here right now because I think they're kind of numb and tired and beat down and beat up, and we've got to figure out how to push through that. And I say that, I think that's been the story of our year so far. And I say so far because I think our season's far from over. If we can get in the conference tournament, I promise you, as little and beat up and all that, I feel good if we get it clicking. I feel good about our shot to play anybody. So we just got to try and figure it out best we can. I'm doing everything I know to do in my 41 years around the game of basketball. Coach them hard, not too hard. Rest them, put in a game plan. Push them, pull them, give, take. I'm searching, still searching, but we've been searching for that all year long, and it's kind of been the lessons that we've learned through that.
Mackenzie, it's got to be, good thing, bad thing. Senior day, your 4th year and all that, but, you leave it a year there too. Talk about this last game, this coming down the stretch for you.
Well, this is probably the most nervous I've ever been for a game, I think, because I know it's my last one, and it's been a hard decision to kind of cut it short. But I just feel like it's God's will for my life to just continue my career and go to nursing school and just start that next chapter in my life. But I wish we could have got a win, my last time playing on that floor. But I'd rather get in the conference tournament and win when it matters. So.
I guess Kiana, same question.
Yeah, it was tough, but I'm proud to represent Marshall and been able to play for here for 4 years. And I wish we would have won, but.
And I know, T, you're hoping to be back, to at least, Scott, get 2 senior days in your career. So talk about this game and going into these final 2.
I mean, it sucks that we lost. Like, nobody wants to lose on senior night, but I just in my mind, it's not my last game, so I'm gonna just chalk this L up, but it's not my last game here playing. I just keep telling myself that. So.
To kind of update everybody on the process with T, we're appealing to the NCAA of getting a year back. If they deny it, we'll appeal. If they deny it, we'll appeal again. If they deny it, we'll appeal again until they tell us don't knock on our door anymore. And folks around here are real familiar that may require a knock on the door of the NCAA to get something back going, just like the movie. And we'll lay everything we've got on the line for her, and she knows that. She's been great. But when we know a final answer, then we'll let everybody know. But I don't know if we'll know a final answer for quite some time. We just don't know a final answer.
Matt, obviously, all 3 of these players left it all out there today. So, they played so hard and they played well. I know for Mackenzie, she gets a couple more threes and where she's second or third or fourth all time, and she pulls 4 rebounds, which is probably maybe the surprise of the day.
Yeah.
But talk about how special these kids have been to your program and what they've put into it in 4 years plus for your.
I get walking in here, there's a letter, and I won't read you the letter, I haven't read all of it, but it's from a manager's dad. Dang you, Woody. And I won't tell you everything it says, but it just kind of talks about the impact that you have. I can show you a picture of Logan Fraley getting fouled against Middle Tennessee that's out there on social media. That's a no call. And fortunately or unfortunately, that's the things that coaches are measured on. But I could also show you a picture of Trent's birth certificate. And T doesn't know why. I asked Taliqua to bring it to me. And she didn't know why, but I took a picture of it. And I took a picture of it because, selfishly, the name that's on it, Daniel Hamilton. Because rather than be measured by that photo of the foul, I choose to measure that photo. These cats mean a lot to me. I hope I've meant a lot to them. That probably comes and goes from their side. They'll understand that when they're our age. And I say ours because I'm feeling closer and closer to your age every day. They mean a lot. I wanted young women that when they put on a Marshall jersey, it meant something. It means something to them. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Is that part of the reason, and you look at all 3 of these girls sitting up here, and all in-state kids, 2 of them local, is that why you put the emphasis on players that are around here as well, simply because there's that investment and there's that heartfelt touch to it for them.
I believe in educating our own. I believe that in sports, in business. I believe in giving back. That's my philanthropy. This is my avenue to do that. I believe that we have a great opportunity, that our future depends on the type of leaders that we raise. And through sport, we have the opportunity to influence character, leadership, life lessons that they don't get anywhere else in real time. And, you know, we've become the cool thing to do. Now, this year is not going like we want, but this year ain't over. When we got here, it wasn't that easy. It's gotten easier locally. I mean, we've got a commitment in the 18 class, 2 commitments in the 19 class, and they're all within 3 hours. The 17 class is ranked number 34 in the country. The class that followed them 2 years behind them is number 52 in the country. And we're taking kids that we're either beating people on or that nobody else thinks can play, and then we're turning them into players. Either way, I'll take. That's a huge compliment, either way you look at it. But I want it to mean something. The game has got to mean something. The game was meant to be played with fire and desire, a passion in your belly, pride and guts. And I think that Marshall means something to these three.
On the flip side of that, you look at some of the runs that happen. Either shots aren't falling, and you know the defensive end, because shots aren't falling, it seems like at times it's in their head.
No doubt.
How do you balance okay, we want you to play with emotion and that fire, but you can't let it get there too much, because then you're overthinking. You're not playing.
Yep. And I said in your belly. You know, and I was a player. For me to survive, not succeed, I had to have a cheerleader. I had to have that, or I would have been eaten up. But we don't have time, and this team is not fortunate enough to have the luxury. We've got to move on to the next play. If the play goes bad, we can't pout. If the play goes great, we can't hoorah. We've got to move on to the next play. And there's a fine line there, and I ain't figured it out with this group. But I've told you guys, this has been the hardest year I've ever had coaching, trying to figure out the riddles and the questions that I get asked, and trying to educate them on the things that matter. It's been the craziest, weirdest. But aside from the result of the games, I think it's great. I think it's great. It's taught me a lot. I mean, I talked to, Jennifer's in here, and we talk about it all the time. We're all learning a lot. We're all learning a lot.
You mentioned that you still think that there's plenty of this season left, and you look at the last 2 games. I'll just take that for example. The third quarter the other night, Taliqua gets into a zone and just basically takes things over. Tonight, Key was the same way. Do you feel like that's coming, that it's all going to click at the same time in these last 2 games and on forward? Almost
every play. I almost feel like, here we go. And then there's a little bit of that stung, But it's got to be that stung and move on. It can't be a deflation. And we're waiting on that to happen instead of going and making that happen consistently. Chipping away. I can almost tell you when a ball leaves, if you watch me at all, and you shouldn't, you should be watching them, but if you're watching my language at all, when a ball leaves, I can tell you whether I need to call the defense or say get back or go get it. And there are times when on the pass before the shot, I'm screaming the defense because I feel that good about it. I think we've got tools. They're not exactly how we drew it up, but I still think they're tools. I feel that way almost every play.
Anything else?
Thank you.